Partial Breakaway Podcast with your hosts Nick and Junior and producer Vince, bringing you elite fantasy hockey information to help you win your fantasy leagues and win at life.
Episode 156 of the Partial Breakaway Fantasy Hockey Podcast. I'm co-host Junior, accompanied by co-host Nick and producer Vince. That intro went way too long at way too high of a volume.
I was lowering the wrong one.
I knew something was
And we started off great, guys. That's excellent.
How are we doing, guys? Are we doing Frondell great, or are we doing Yakemchuk great?
Oh, this is the time, eh?
Yeah.
This is the time of the year. All these
ELC
young guys.
players entering the NHL, getting some points quickly, having fantasy GM's dream about what they could be.
A fantasy GM's wet dream. I heard you. I heard what you said.
All right, that's the title of this episode. How are we doing, guys?
We're doing all right. We're doing all right.
Sunday night, we're getting there.
Sunday night, and Miro Heiskanen has played, 62 minutes of a hockey game, and he doesn't have a hit, a shot, a block. Is he even in the game? Like I don't understand.
Nick, he's played 23 minutes and 33 seconds. He's had 22 shifts, and he's got a total of 1 giveaway to show for it. 0 takeaways, 0 hits, 0 blocks, 0 shots, 0 power play goals, 0 penalty minutes, 0 points.
Thanks. This is what I need in my fantasy playoffs right now. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Damn it. Here we go.
0, 0, 0, 0.
I don't know. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah,
very loudly.
We heard that. All right, guys. For those of you who don't know who we are Vince, Nick, and Junior.
We are farmers.
We are 3 amateurs that don't know our stats by heart, supposedly, and that's a problem for some people. But what I could tell you is that we love talking fantasy. We are here to talk fantasy with each other, and we hope that you join
fantasy hockey.
Fantasy hockey, yeah, sorry. If there's other fantasies that Junior likes, but that's a separate podcast that he does with his wife. We won't talk about that podcast right now. But for the rest of us...
Pillow Talk.
It's Pillow Talk. Pillow Talk. That's a great song, by the way, from... anyways. So fantasy hockey, we focus on Dynasty. We focus on cap leagues. We had an last episode, which is our Fantasy Lens episode, where we went through all the best contracts, bang for buck episode. That was a lot of fun. I hope that brought some insight to some people that actually play cap league hockey. And we have more watchers in the States than we do in Canada, which is the first time that's ever happened. So shout out to the USA for keeping us employed in our amateur
in our volunteer work, keeping us
employed.
Volunteer work.
You guys getting paid? Because I ain't getting paid. So
well, we are getting paid, but it's not enough to buy a coffee. But we're getting paid.
And Nick is not overstating that. It's not enough to buy a coffee. Which is why we need you listeners from America to support us and download our episodes.
Unless there's any stat changes, it looks like I passed my first round. Wow. Barely, by the skin of my teeth. Very nice.
Congratulations, Nick.
Thank you. All right. Guys, we start the Odd Man Rush.
Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Odd Man Rush brought to you by Sportira, where we take news and notes and trends of the NHL and turn them into 30-second takes, which usually takes 3 minutes, which is fine because we just have time right now. This segment is sponsored from Sportira. You can visit the website at www.sportira.com for all your apparel and team uniform needs. Follow them on Instagram as well at sportira.apparel. All right, boys. So we're gonna start with some fresh news, straight out of the oven. We'll say the Vegas Golden Knights fire Cassidy and hire Tortorella. Now, for people who are listening to this, you would think the Vegas Golden Knights at the bottom 5 in the standings, but they aren't. Vegas is third in their division with 80 points, 74 games played. They are 4 points away higher than the wild card Los Angeles Kings at 76 points in 73 games. Now, Vegas has been on a real bad streak in the past few months. I'd say even after the Olympics. Nick, what do you think about the firing? What do you think about the hiring?
Well, I had been out with a couple of friends, including Commissioner Batista from our PBLL league, and we were watching the Habs game, and then after the Habs game, the Vegas game came on, and they just looked like they didn't care. They weren't interested. They weren't playing well. They haven't been playing well for a very long time. So it's odd how this firing came right before the playoffs. However, I think this is exactly what Vegas is. They are cutthroat. They have no excuses. It's you better be good, you better perform, or you're out, and that's for any one of their players, any one of the coaches. They really don't care. They're running it like an NFL organization in my books, and that's how the NFL is, right? You do a horrible year, unless you're the Jets coach, you're fired, you're out. There's no second chances. Now, this is actually interesting that it comes right before the playoffs, but it's a smart move, I think. I think Tortorella is the kick in the behind that the Vegas players need at this time, just to get them maybe going. And like that coach bump that we've always talked about is like maybe lasts a week or two. Who knows? Maybe it lasts a round into the playoffs.
Well,
we're right there.
Look what it's done for Columbus. Sorry, I was
look
just
what
adding
it's done. Yeah, look what it's done for Columbus. Exactly. So this could be a perfect timing thing. Now, I have to say, I don't think Bruce Cassidy is really going to be out of a job for long. I think there's a lot of teams out there that could use a Bruce Cassidy, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Junior, your thoughts?
They're 3-5-2 in their last 10 games. Like Nick said, they don't care. Like I love an organization that sets a standard, and if you're not gonna be up to par, then we're gonna make changes. And they don't care how far into the season they are. They don't look good, even though playoffs is a different ball game. They don't want to go into the playoffs like this, so they're making a move. And naturally, anytime you make a coaching change, I'm sure the players were probably they probably went to see the players, I think, and to a certain extent maybe, and be like, what's going on? Is a coaching change maybe a good thing here? So who knows? Maybe it comes out later that there was a bit of a rift between coach and players. I don't know, but Torts is coming in, so there's no fooling around now. That's for sure.
TMZ Junior is out on
Yeah.
This could be a good, but from a fantasy perspective, I'm dying for these Vegas players to pick it up. I got Marner, I got Hurdle in multiple pools.
Eichel scored his first goal, I think, today or yesterday or something.
So I need Hurdle to wake up big time, man.
The biggest thing with Vegas, before we go to the next topic, the biggest thing with Vegas is their top players are not performing like their top players. Eichel, since he won that gold medal with Team USA, has been almost like a AAA player, hasn't been doing very much. Not sure if he's injured or the high of winning gold medal with the States, he couldn't bring it back to the NHL level. So it'll be interesting. But Torts, we all know Torts, huh? He's no fuss, no fun type of coach. So that's the type of coaches you might need in the playoffs, right? That puts in a system and they play that system.
at one point, weren't we talking about Jack Eichel pacing for 100 points? He's pacing for 78 points.
Oh no, he's been on a terrible
That's how
stretch.
big of a letdown there.
Yeah.
And
Since
at
the
the
Olympics,
beginning,
it's been really bad since the Olympics.
at the beginning of the season, remember we were all high on Shea Theodore? Even him, he's at 34 points.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jack Eichel has 78 points. He's pacing for 97. My bad.
Yeah, that's.
But Shea Theodore only has 34 points in 62 games. Like, we thought he was gonna have a monster season, and now he's only pacing 45. So Marner's a point per game player.
I'll tell you what's funny about Theodore. Theodore is having his best defensive season that he's ever had in his career this year. If you look at the micro stats, his offense has dried up completely.
Yeah.
But his defensive acumen this year has been very, very good. But for fantasy, in most of our fantasy leagues, the points count for more. So you better shape up.
Last week we were talking about defensemen's 40-plus points, right? The only defenseman on this team with 40-plus points, and it's 40 on the nose, is Rasmus Anderson, who they acquired like 3 weeks ago.
Who got most of his points with the Calgary Flames.
That's right, exactly. So he scored a crazy goal, by the way, this weekend. That was nasty work from Rasmus Anderson.
All right, so to the next topic, let's talk about these playoff races in the East and the West. To make it simple, we'll do the East first, and then we'll go to the West. So, and I mean, let's not be shocked, but we finally have some teams that are eliminated from the playoffs, and some teams that have clinched the playoffs. So Vancouver and the Rangers officially eliminated from the playoffs. Colorado, Dallas are officially in the playoffs. So let's talk about the East. In the Atlantic Division, we have Tampa Bay, who are tied with Buffalo for first in that division. So Tampa Bay has 73 games, Buffalo has 74. There'll be a tight race, but I still think Tampa Bay will win that division. Montreal is in third with 94 points. Then if you look at the Metropolitan, Carolina, 98. They're coasting. No one's catching them. They're winning that division. Islanders, 89. Pittsburgh, 88. Columbus, 88. Boston, who's in the Atlantic, has 92. So the wild card right now, we have Boston, the first wild card spot, at 92 points. That's 2 points behind Montreal with 1 game more. Columbus is at 88 points in the second wild card. They're tied with Pittsburgh, who's third in the division, but Pittsburgh has 1 game less played. Just out of that position are the Ottawa Senators at 86 points with 1 game less. So if they win Game 74, Ottawa would be tied with Columbus with 88 points. Detroit Red Wings, 86 points, 73 games. Same situation as Ottawa. And Philadelphia just made their presence felt. They're at 84 points with 72 games played.
Vince, that's actually, they just won, so it's 86. They're also at 86.
86 and 73, so NHL didn't update yet. So Philly is also in that boat. I mean, okay, like Junior, we'll start with you in the East. Like, which race is intriguing you more? The Buffalo, Tampa Bay, the Islanders, Pittsburgh, Columbus, on who's gonna finish second and third in the Metropolitan, or the wild card of who's finishing the last 2 spots of the wild card?
What's wild in all this is like Philadelphia and Columbus could just as easy be out of the playoffs as they could finish second in the division, because the Islanders are only at 89 points.
Exactly.
And like 10 days ago, maybe a little bit more, we were talking about Detroit Red Wings as number 3 in the Atlantic. Now they go 4-5-1 in the last 10 games. They were pretty bad this week, unfortunately, and they're sitting 2 points out of a wild card spot. I mean, things could change like in an instant. It's absolutely crazy. This is like the most entertaining race I've seen in a really long time. Last year, I don't know if you guys recall, but nobody wanted to make the playoffs. The Canadians, the Blue Jackets, everybody was losing all their games. The Canadians literally lost their way into the playoffs. But this year it's the opposite. Everybody wants it. Everybody's winning. It's and Ottawa, to do it without Chabot, to do it without Sanderson, man, that's credit to them for sure.
Nick,
it's gonna be wild.
It's been fun. It's been good hockey as well. I'm curious to see who sneaks in right at the end. I'm curious to see who the first round matchups are going to be, because I find the first round is always like the funnest. I find it's the funnest, absolutely. So it's gonna, and you know what? I really hope we get a surprise. We get a surprise upset, a big upset, making round one even more interesting. I'm looking forward to a lot of these young guys too that are coming in, right? Like the Frundells, the Cole Hudsons, it's insane, and seeing how they work with their team. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
All right, so now we'll go to the West. Like the only simple thing in the West is the Central Division because you got Colorado number one, Dallas number two. They're basically a shoe in that, and then you have Minnesota at three, which is pretty much a shoe in also. The Pacific is basically last year's Eastern Conference Finals where no one wants the first place, so they're just tossing and turning all the time. So we have Anaheim right now with 86 points and 73 games played. Edmonton 83 points, 74 games played, and Vegas 80 points, 74 games played. Vegas just got a coaching change. The Pacific Division is
Jesus.
so bad that the Utah Mammoths, who have 82 points, are in a wild card spot when they would have been third in the Pacific. It's crazy. But the crazier thing in the West is this. At the beginning of the year, the start Nashville had, we were like, goodbye, au revoir la visite, trade everyone, Stamkos, O'Reilly, and, start the rebuild. Nashville is holding the second wildcard position at 77 points with 74 games played. Right behind them is Los Angeles, 73 games played with 76 points. The Seattle Kraken, the team that's full of second and third liners. Well, guess what? Those second and third liners have 75 points in 72 games. And then another team that we said was completely out and was going to draft closer to the bottom than closer to the top, the Winnipeg Jets are at 74 points and 73 games played. And finally, I think the one team I think all want to make the playoffs that are carried by young guns, the San Jose Sharks, 71 games played, 73 points. They have the least game played from anyone who's from the first wildcard position to where they are 4 wildcard positions out. So just to put it in perspective, if San Jose would win game 72, 73, and 74, that's 6 points. That would put them at 79 points, which would be second wildcard position. So, Nick, I'm going to start with you in the West because there's just so much. I don't know where you want to go. So, choose.
I had counted St. Louis out. I counted St. Louis out for a while now, and they were talking about trading Robert Thomas. And all of a sudden, Snuggerud, I think, I was just looking at it the other day. I think he has like 15 points in his last, or 17 points in his last 15 games. He's been killing it. But oh wait, sorry, the guy, we received a comment that we should get our stats completely accurate. So just 1 second here. I'm just gonna get this Snuggerud stat. I need it to be exact.
The listener said that at 10 years old he knew more hockey than we did.
Hey, good.
Hey. So Nick, so just let you know, St. Louis
sure
right
he had
now.
a lot of friends too.
Stop it.
3 points in 3 games. In his last 3 games, he's had 17 goals, 22 assists, and 39 points for the season so far.
St. Louis, Nick, is on a 4-game winning streak. They are 7-1-2 in their last 10 games.
Yeah,
they are right now the hottest team in the West. There is only Winnipeg, who's 5-3 and 2, who are not in playoffs, who are second. But in the West, it's nuts. Go ahead, Nick.
Holloway's been killing it. Mayu is looking like an NHLer out of nowhere. They had so much talent. I thought they had talent all year, to be honest with you, but now they just seem to be taking that step that I thought they were going to take at the beginning of the year. I don't know what happened at the beginning of the year, but all of a sudden things are starting to go well. They traded away Braden Chen, right? They were talking about trading Robert Thomas. They were talking about trading away Parayko, right? There were some rumors of Parayko out there. And all of a sudden, this team is killing it, and I'm here for it. I would love to watch this team in the playoffs in the Western Conference and surprise somebody by winning a round.
Junior?
I'm looking at Winnipeg. I think if there's one team in this race that Colorado's looking down and being like, that's one team I don't want to play, that's the Winnipeg Jets. They finally, if Colorado ends up winning the division, they finally escaped the first round chaos of the Dallas Stars. And who do they get stuck with? Again, the Winnipeg Jets. Guys, they have the team, they have the goaltending to do it. They're 5-3-2 in their last 10. They're only 3 points back with a game in hand on Nashville. That's the team I'm scared to play against if I were any of the Western Conference teams.
I'm this week of hockey is going to be an exciting week of hockey just because of all the playoff implications that's going to happen this week. So it's gonna be a good week either in the East or in the West. So it'll be fun to watch and to keep a close eye on if there's any other teams that clinch their playoff spots.
And there's a lot of like head-to-head matchups this week. It's wild. Like St. Louis is playing San Jose and LA this week. Wow. Two teams right in front of them in the standings. Nashville only has 2 games, but they're playing LA and San Jose, who are chasing them in the standings. It's wild, man. It's going to be so fun.
At the end of this week, Nashville could be the biggest winners because they played the least amount of games, and other teams might lose out on points because they lose their games. It's crazy to say. So,
and 2 full weeks left and a half week. So 2.5 weeks left to the NHL season.
All right, to our next topic, we'll talk about something closer to home. I mean, we always talk about Caulfield, Hudson, the progression of Slafkovsky, but Nick Suzuki, I mean, just at the beginning of this year, we were asking ourselves, can Nick Suzuki be a point-per-game player? Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Nick Suzuki has 91 points in 73 games played, 26 goals, 65 assists, plus 36, shooting percentage of 15.9, face-off percentage of 50.6. I mean, is there any more debate that this guy's a number one centerman, Junior?
Well,
okay, Nico.
Go ahead, Nick.
No, sorry, I just wanted to correct you a little bit. You said we were wondering if he was a point-per-game player. He was 89 points last year.
Yeah, but it was the first time he hit it. So we're asking,
could he be that consistent?
Could he be that consistent? Because what was last year's main topic was for Montreal, can Nick Suzuki be a number one centerman? And he had just hit 89 points, and we're still. But now with him at 91, 73 games played. Junior, I mean, is the debate over? He is a number one centerman?
To me, he always was. He was progressing that way. They were just not giving him the opportunity to establish himself as one. But yeah, he's pacing for 102 points. I know the plus-minus stat is like stupid in some way, but when you're a plus 32 and you're playing against the other team's best lines, it's super impressive, man. He's logging almost 21 minutes a game. He's got 26 goals, 65 assists. He's a power play beast. His hockey IQ is ridiculous. 17 points in his last 10 games. Suzuki is a number one center. They have one of the top 3 best lines in the league, and I'm not scared to say they're one.
He has 13 more points than the second person, which is Caulfield, on that team. So it's not like they're all bunched up and there's like 3 guys that have 90 points. No, he's got the 91, and then you have Caulfield, who's at 79 right now with 46 goals. So, Nick, what can you tell me about Nick Suzuki? Well, look at that. Nick, what can you tell me about Nick?
Nick squared.
Well, I think we said it. I mean, we called out a few guests that we had that were saying that, he might still not be a number one center. The thing is with Nick Suzuki is that he's not flashy, right? He doesn't skate between 3-4 defenders at full speed and score goals. He's just a slow, steady, intelligent player that's always in the right position and always manages to give a good pass or receive a good pass. His shot is underrated, I think. He's very accurate, but he's never gonna be an Ovechkin. He's never gonna be a McDavid. He's never gonna be a McKinnon. So because of that, people think that, he's not a superstar player. This guy's a superstar. It is what it is. He's a non-flashy superstar player.
And how there's players that like as rookies or their second year, they already reached their peak. And I think that goes to the superstars that you're talking about, like the elite of the elite. Like, if you look at his progression, 41 points, 61 points, 66 points, 77, 89. Now he's at 91. He's going to probably hit 100. A gradual progression that's, honestly, it's fantastic.
When's the last time that Montreal could have said that they have a 90-point player?
Yeah. Well, Nick, that's where I'm coming.
Maybe two.
So the best, what's going to be the best for Montreal Canadiens? What's in your minds? I'm going to give you 4 options. You guys have to tell me one option which is you think is a better feature. So a better not feature, better goal. Okay. Suzuki hitting 100 points, Caulfield hitting 50 points, Hudson hitting 82 points in 82 games, or Slafkovsky hitting over 30 goals.
I'll go with Slav. I think there's been a lot of debate on whether Slav was a first overall talent, right, to be taken first overall in the draft. We've had a couple of, like media type people calling him out as, oh, well, he's not Austin Matthews or he's not Celebrini, right? He's not these guys. He plays his role perfectly. He is a very, very good player. If he gets 30 goals this year, I think it puts a lot of the doubters silenced.
Junior?
I'm going to go with the 50 goals for Caulfield. We've just been so starved for goal scoring in this city for so long that 40 was already like, let's throw a party. If he hits 50, it's like build a statue. That's how long it's been. 89, what was it? Stéphane Richer did it in what? Was it 89? Like, I was a year old, for crying out loud. So, it's got to be Caulfield. For me, Caulfield at 50 goals, that's the biggest feat of the year if he gets to it.
All right, bing. All right, so sticking with Montreal Canadiens, Dobes has been
every time I try using a sound bite, I lose.
You use the wrong volume. One. Oh yeah. Okay, so let me start over. So next, Dobes is on fire. He's been on an absolute tear these past few weeks for Montreal Canadiens. Has this slate pushed? We all know Schaefer is winning the Calder Trophy, but has this slate pushed Dobes into the Calder conversation, meaning as a nominee? Now, before you guys answer, I'll just let you guys know, like, I'll give you 10 players who can be in the Calder nominee right now. You have, obviously, Schaefer, Senecki, Demidov, Oliver Kapanen, Dobes, Ryan Leonard, Nikishin, Wastad, Fraser Mitten, and Ben Kindle. So, Nick, for his late push, do you think it makes him a candidate for a nominee in the Calder Trophy?
Top 5?
Nominee, I think, is 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's enough. I mean, if you look at guys like Senecki, Demidov, and who was the other one? Schaefer. Right? Like, I don't think any of these guys are really relinquishing those top 3 spots.
Yeah. Like I
would have loved to say Kindle, but Kindle's at what, 7? It's just not enough.
Junior?
In terms of impact on his team, I mean, he might. You can argue he's more important than Demidov to the Canadiens.
Yeah, but you also,
out of 25 wins, he's got 10 steals. That's 20 points on his back that he gave on his own. He gave the Canadiens 20 points. And I mean,
yeah, but at some point you have to remember that the Canadiens were forced to call up their AHL goaler Fowler because the other 2 goalers, including Dobes, were struggling. So that's where I think that's where him.
But
I think
as a rookie goalie, you can't hide him and lower his minutes, right? Like Demidov, Seneca, if they're in a rut, you could change the lines. You could put them on the third line, or like just give them power play time. Like you can play around. Like what goalies you can't do that. And like Hellebuck needs a reset too sometimes. Yeah, I mean he doesn't get sent down, but I'm just saying like it happens to the best where you go through a little rut, you find your game, and then here we are. But I think there's a big credit to Anthony Marciano, the goalie coach that was with the Laval Rocket that got promoted to the Montreal Canadiens, because since he's been on as the goalie coach, Dobes has improved mightily.
I think his name gets on the ballot, but I don't think it gets into the final three of the nominees. But I mean, he's getting hot at the right time for Montreal, so we're hoping he stays hot for Montreal fans. Bing! All right. Next, a defenseman who has been always criticized for his lack of defensive awareness, but yet is an offensive machine. Evan Bouchard. He gets a lot of heat for his defensive play, but not enough credit for his offensive production. He is having an insane year. 74 games played, 20 goals, 66 assists, 86 points. I mean,
that's intense, man.
Is this like this has to be Norris top, like in the Norris top 3, right, Junior?
Yeah, how could you not? The guy's pacing for 95 points.
So
Evan Bouchard, man, this is why I don't care who he plays with. I really don't care who he plays with. I was always the type that I was always like skittish on him. He's playing with great players. He's so bad defensively. He can't keep this up. Come on, man, 95 pacing for 95 points. That's Norris type stuff.
So Nick, before you, I just want to give you these stats. He's a plus 22. The closest defenseman to him is Werenski, who has 77 points. So 9 less points, but in 67 games. So points per game, Bouchard is at 1.16. Werenski is at 1.15. And all the rest is Hudson, Hughes, and McCarter all at 1. But Werenski plays 26 and a half minutes a game. Bouchard plays 24 and a half minutes. So 2 less minutes than Werenski does. I mean, Nick, should there be a debate, or is this a trophy that's just in Bouchard's hands right now?
For the Norris?
Yeah.
I hate giving the Norris to Bouchard. I would hate it.
Why?
I would hate it because he's an all-world offensive talent who plays with other all-world offensive players. Don't get me wrong. But he's not Werenski. Like, to me, Werenski does everything. And that, to me, is more important than just the points. And I don't think the Norris should be just points. So for me, I still go Werenski.
Vince, I know it's about Bouchard, but you did mention Werenski. He has 77 points, like you said.
Yeah.
Other than Kirill Marchenko, who has 61, no one else has more than has reached the 60-point mark. So he's leading his team in points and he's a defenseman. And the next best guy is 16 points behind, and he's a forward.
Yeah, listen,
the importance to his team, I think Werenski might get the edge just because he's been more valuable to his team than maybe Bouchard.
But you think
extent, but Bouchard, it doesn't take anything away from Bouchard, really. But
I don't know. If Karlsson could win, if Erik Karlsson could win the Norris because he hit 100 points, I think Bouchard deserves the Norris this year. I mean, you take away those.
He's pacing 94, so they're neck and neck for points.
Yeah,
it's not to say Werenski's not pacing for a high amount of points. He's pacing for 94.
Yes, but Werenski is also playing 2.5 minutes more than Bouchard.
Because he's a better player.
No, it's not shorthanded. It has nothing to do with that. I am telling you guys, I went to watch
Either
Columbus.
Way, he's a better player.
I went to watch Columbus Montreal live, and I promise you, it's like Werenski never goes to the bench. He was just always on the ice. It just seemed like he was always. You look up and he was always on the ice. So when you play 2.5 more minutes, not about better players, Nick. Was Erik Karlsson better player than McCarr and all that when he won the Norris? No, he just hit 100 points as a defenseman. So you can't change the Norris rules now just because there's a better player.
Those aren't the Norris rules, but okay.
Wow,
But
the
I
Norris.
think what this does is it should raise the question. There should be a defensive defenseman award and an offensive defenseman award at this point.
That's what people have been pushing for, but right now the NHL has still stood pat with that. But speaking of Erik Karlsson, who is if a past Norris Trophy winner, has 16 points in his last 8 games played, pacing for 72 points. At the beginning, we were questioning whether his relevance fantasy wise, especially with a Pittsburgh team that we thought was not going to be very good. Now this Pittsburgh team is in the playoff spot, and he's pacing for 72 points. Is Karlsson fantasy relevant? Like, I mean, this year everybody's in the playoffs this year. But for next year, are we changing our stance and making Karlsson fantasy relevant? Junior.
I have to be honest. I looked at it and I don't have much cap space, okay, in loose pucks, but I'm considering it. Pittsburgh said they're not going to trade him in his final year of his contract. We'll see how the season goes. I'm sure if it goes downhill, they might, but at the rate he's producing, it's hard not to make him relevant, even at $11.5 million. He's almost a point per game player this year. It's not like he's never done it before. So maybe he's finally just found his game again, found the right system, the right team, the right teammates. I'm thinking about it, man. In cap leagues, I'm thinking about it. Well, if not in cap leagues, he's definitely fantasy relevant.
Yeah, I mean, he's top 10, right? He's top 10 at the position in points.
Yeah, he's eight overall.
So it's almost impossible to say that he's not relevant. I think it's really, can you make room for him, right? It's part of the debate that we had last Wednesday, during our midweek episode, where we said that, bang for buck, $11 million, that's a hefty price to pay. But like, if I'm looking at all the other defensemen here, Heiskanen is at 60 points as well. 60 points on the dot. Like, they're both tied for points, and he's at $8 million. Really? Dahlin is at $11 million. Like, there's people under him that are just as high in salaries, or close to it at least. So if you can't find somebody in salary, if salary is not an issue for you, you absolutely go for Erik Karlsson. And if you could make the room, go for it. Why not?
All right. Bing. Another guy who we're asking if he's going to be fantasy relevant, got traded to Seattle from Toronto and has been on fire since. Bobby McMann, 8 games played, 11 points with McMann. Sorry, McCann. Why? Who's McCann? McCann's
his
the other
teammate,
guy.
His
Jesus,
teammate. That's why it's confusing. Yeah, trust me. So I got McMann, Karlsson, and Karlsson. so annoying.
Bobby McMann, since he got traded from Toronto to Seattle, 8 games played, 11 points. If he stays with Seattle, is this a player who will get drafted higher, we'll say second, third round, as a good complementary player to all the other wingers that you have on your team, fantasy-wise? Nick?
What do you mean by second or third round? Like, what kind of league is this?
Let's say it's a cap league, or you know what? We won't say second or round. Free agency. Let's say he's a free agent. Are you going in free agency to pick him up to put on your team?
I think he's the type of player that you kind of want late in the round. If it's a redraft league, let's say, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna try to grab him late, and hope that he could continue this kind of production. Whereas if I'm kind of looking at him as a what do we think he's going to be? Like a 60-point player, 70-point player? Like, that's the thing. In some leagues, so it all depends on your league, but in some leagues, a 60-point player is on the bench, or he's in free agency and he stays there, or he's a waiver wire pickup for a week, right? So you really have to look at your league, and I don't think that he's going to be a 70-point player.
But he could maybe be a 30-goal scorer. He's at 26. Last year, he got 20 in 74 games. Most of my leagues are cap leagues. It's going to depend, first of all, does he resign in Seattle? And how much does he resign for? I mean, it's nice and pretty at $1.35 million, but If he starts making 6, it's not as easy of a decision. In redraft leagues, especially in deep leagues, you're going to end up taking him a little towards the end, like Nick said. I agree. But I'm intrigued. If he stays in Seattle and he can sign if you can sign under 5, which is unlikely, I would be intrigued to possibly snag him.
Snap him.
Snag.
All right.
We speak much better English, more better English over here.
So this week, Ovechkin got his 34th career hat trick. This is a record he will not chase Wayne Gretzky's record. Wayne Gretzky has 50 hat tricks in his career. Mario Lemieux has 40. Mike Bossy 39, but Ovechkin just passed Brett Hall with 34. I don't think we should spend much time on this, but Junior, Ovechkin, does this surprise you?
No. Damn it. He did have a bit of a downfall. He is going to hit 30 goals. I think this is pretty much where everyone expected it to go. Like, he was never going to fall off dramatically. But, I think he could still be consistently a 30-goal scorer even at 40. That's pretty crazy to say.
He's leading Washington in points. That's
another guy, by the way. He still has to sign. Does he sign another contract? Is it with the Capitals? How much is it going to be?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back. Like, would it be that shocking for you? Like, I personally think he's going to retire after this year. But has he really come out and said, this is my retirement tour?
He did not.
No, but I don't think that. But do you think
Ovechkin
Ovechkin
scores another 30 next year? I think he could score another 30 next year.
Do you think Ovechkin is that guy who needs that goodbye tour? Like, I see Ovechkin more of a guy saying, "Thank you very much, I'm good. I'm going back to Russia and maybe play a year in the KHL or whatnot." So, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does sign another year, and they play him like they're playing him this year. The 2 minutes on the power play, offensive zone faceoffs, he's there. Like, they didn't overtax him because he's gonna be 40 and still scoring 30 goals a year. He is 40 and scoring 30 goals a year.
When the season starts next year, he'll be 41.
That's crazy. That's an accomplishment and a half. That's crazy. So for anybody in fantasy or who is in a battle for their top supremacy in the fantasy, Gottisberg and Rantanen do return. So you'll have them for a full week next week. The problem
they both
with
got multi points in the return too.
Yeah, exactly. So that we'll see, but just for everybody's information. And finally, the last thing for the Odd Man Russia, this is the year where we see a lot of these NCAA players, junior players signing their ELC contracts with their NHL teams. We've already had some, but now we have some other names. Paul Martone signed his ELC with the Flyers. Victor Eklund signed a contract and joins Bridgeport with the Islanders. And Yakemchuk, he's already got multi-point game in debut with the Senators. So, I'm not going to stick around too much with this, but do we expect Eklund, Yakemchuk already got his cup of tea in the NHL. Do we expect Martone or Eklund to see any NHL action this year? Junior?
I wouldn't be surprised if the Flyers take a look at Martone, maybe for some offensive punch. They're in the fight for a playoff spot. Maybe they could use a guy like that. Eklund is with Bridgeport, so he's probably looking like he's going to stay in the AHL for this year. But yeah, I think I'm curious to see what Martone looks like with the Flyers. Really looking forward to that, actually.
I think Martone plays. Why not? I think they're going to try to burn a year off his contract and start him right away. First of all, he's an absolute stud. And guys, we talk about Michkov, right, in Philadelphia, and I think Martone is going to be as good of a player, as good of a production-wise as Michkov. That first line would be an absolutely stud line if they were playing on the same line together. So yeah, I think it's going to happen.
So that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for your odd man rush. We're not playing the music.
Yeah.
It looks
why
like
not?
he's going to be playing against Philadelphia, by the way, against the Capitals this week,
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
from
what
what
I
I'm
was reading.
reading on X.
Odd man rush.
All right, so before we get to our exciting finish in the Pebble League, quick word from our sponsors. DraftKings Sportsbooks, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you the option to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbooks. New customers, bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York? Call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut? Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario and Quebec. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng./audio. Limited time offer. Copyright 2026. All rights reserved.
PBL hospitality that Nick affectionately calls Pebble, but no one else likes it. Partial breakaway
What a tune. This is our PBLL update, and it's brought to you by Boulangerie Pâtisserie Italia. It's a sad time of year for Boulangerie Pâtisserie Italia. Their trademarked Zeppeli season is almost over, and everybody is going to have major withdrawal. But for all your cake, specialty cake needs, bread, pastries, you name it, you can go to Pâtisserie Boulangerie Italia on Jean Talon, corner l'Assomption in the east end of Montreal, and they will take good care of you, and your taste buds will be grateful for it. Okay, guys, so for those of you that are new to this podcast and that haven't heard this segment before, this is our listener league that we call PBLL, and it's basically a weekly roster of 2 centers, 2 left wingers, 2 right wingers, 2 defensemen, and a goalie. And you have a salary cap of $35 million. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong because it's a long time since we read the rules. But and basically you got to come up with your best lineup based off the schedule and whatever it is you want. The points are pretty standard: goals, assists, shots on goal, special team points, hits, blocks. And for goalies, it's wins, saves, shutouts, etc. It was pretty fun. We felt like this is the type of league that would keep you in the loop for longer, and it has, although naturally teams drop off a little earlier than others. Okay, so this week, one of the teams that was at the bottom of the standings is actually the best this week with 166 points. La Sommel is the winner of this period, this week. And we're going to take a quick look at his team just to give you an idea of what kind of players were selected, with what kind of salary, and what was the output of these players. So he had Macklin Celebrini, who got him 12 points this week. Jack Hughes, 32.6 points this week. Matt Boldy, 7.9. Jason Robertson, 27.7 points. Dorofeev at 9.2 points. Nate Chess, 11.8. Lane Hudson, 14.4. Matthew Schaefer, 19.8 points. And Jacob Dobes with 31 fantasy points this week. 3 wins, 4 goals against, 100 saves. Absolutely phenomenal week for Jacob Dobes. Now let's take a look at our overall standings, which is what we care about, with only 2.5 weeks left. So 3 periods left in the PBLL. And Vito P remains in first place. He had a week of 158 points. His total for the season is 3,036.9 points. Bonos, who had an equal week to him at 158 points, 0.1, is at 2,987 points in second place. And Dro, who was 15 points behind this week, is in third with 2,956 points. Now, what does all that mean? I'll tell you how many points behind they are in just a second here. So Bonos is in second place, 49 points behind. And Dro is in third place at 80 points behind. And an honorable mention here to David Hockey, who's 84 points behind the leader, Vito P. I want to state, because it's pretty important, Vito P has been up there for quite a while now. If he lost his first place, it was only for a week. So credit to him that he's been able to maintain it for this long. Now, let's take a look at the schedule for this week. Here we go. There are plenty of teams playing many games, but the one team you need to know, the 2 teams that you need to know that you might have to count out this week is Nashville and Utah. They are both playing only 2 games this week. So you're better off having options with teams that play 5, 4, or 3 or more games. All right, so we had this early on. It was a little, it's been a while since a team played 5 games, but the Pittsburgh Penguins are playing 5 games this week. They're playing the Islanders, the Red Wings, the Lightning, and 2 times versus the Florida Panthers. The following teams are playing 4 games: Anaheim, Boston, Carolina, Colorado, Detroit, Florida, Montreal, New Jersey, the Islanders, the Rangers, the Senators, the Flyers, the Sharks, the Blues, the Canucks, and the Capitals. Let's talk about their strength of schedule very quickly here. Let's see who's got the easiest strength of schedule. And that would be the Philadelphia Flyers, who are playing 4 games. They are playing Washington, Detroit, the Islanders, and the Boston Bruins. Utah is also the second best strength of schedule. However, they're only playing 2 games. So maybe you might filter in a player if you want, but I would suggest otherwise. Tampa Bay has a nice schedule: Montreal, Pittsburgh, and Boston. And we'll round it off here with the 4th best strength of schedules: the New Jersey Devils, the Rangers, the Capitals, and back-to-back versus the Canadiens on the weekend. Nick, we'll give Vince a little break since he narrated the odd man rush there. What do you like this week? Which teams are you looking at? Which players in particular do you think could stand out? Do you have a strategy suggestion for the teams in the hunt here for the first overall spot? And before you start, I want to congratulate you on being 4th this week in most points, and Vince was 6th.
Thank you very much. So when I take a look at this, I'm seeing the Pittsburgh Penguins playing 5. I think that's a great place to start. Anytime you have a team playing 5, you have to kind of go in on that. And I think Benjamin Kindle might be the play. I know that Malkin has a red flag next to his name. I think he's injured for another week. I think Crosby is day-to-day right now. So they don't have a lot of centers that are remaining. Kindle might actually be the one taking advantage this week with 5 games going. If Crosby misses any time, I think Kindle's really the one to take over that top spot. I really like Rust as well. I went with Celebrini. Obviously, he's going to stay there every single week on my lineup, especially when he plays 4 games. Cutter Gauthier is staying in my lineup right now. He's just doing great. I went Owen Tippett. Snuggerud is on fire lately. I think Snuggerud is a player that I want to take advantage of here with St. Louis down the stretch. I took Lane Hudson and Schaefer, and I went with Vasilevsky and Nets because I had so much money left over after all these rookie contracts. Might as well do the Vasilevsky. So I was debating whether or not to grab Erik Karlsson instead, try to play with my money a little bit there. But I ended up sticking with Kindle as the main guys and Rust.
Vince?
I have two teams that really pop up to me right away. I would try to stay away from teams that are playing too many other teams that are in the playoff contention because the intensity is going to be there. It'll be more like playoff game. So I'm looking at the Colorado Avalanche schedule. I mean, they're playing Calgary, Vancouver, Dallas, and St. Louis. That's 3 out of 4 teams that are not in the playoff situation. They're actually pretty low in Calgary and Vancouver. So I would stack up on the McKinnon, Makar for this week, and if you can fit another Colorado player that's making a little less money, maybe even a Wedgwood in nets. And I also like the Habs schedule. I mean, the first game of this week is going to be against Tampa Bay, which is always a tough game for them. But after that, they play the Rangers, who are already eliminated from the playoffs. And by the time they play New Jersey, they'll probably be eliminated from the playoffs. So they're back to back. So I think the Habs schedule is also very good, and they have some nice CLC contracts in Hudson and Demidov that you can fit in there. And I mean, if you can fit Caulfield there, who's going to hit his 50th goal this week, and then Suzuki's going to hit 100 points. I mean, you can't go wrong with dressing Montreal Canadiens players. But those are the two teams that really stuck out to me. Philly schedule. They're not playing top teams, but they're playing every single team that's in a playoff contention in Capitals, Detroit, Islanders, Boston. So that's one team I would stay away from.
Would you consider the coaching bump, the coaching boost in Vegas?
I would if
they're
coach
playing
wasn't...
Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton.
Yeah, the problem is with Vegas. I think the problem is that Tortorella is going to go in there not going in there with an offensive game plan. Tortorella's always been that type of coach who's a very defensive game planner. Put your body in front of the puck, block as many shots as possible, and then counter with that. So it's going to be tough. He's not. We've heard it from everyone. He's not an easy coach to play for. So it'll be interesting this week. They're very lucky, Vegas, that they have a pretty easy schedule this week with Calgary, Vancouver, who they could use as their punching bag. So maybe, but I still prefer putting my big bucks on the Avalanche players.
Yeah, it's a weird time of year because, like you said, the teams that are in a playoff contention or in playoff race, I should say, they tighten up, right? They tighten up. There's less space. It's harder to score. Goalies usually stand on their head. But at the same time, they're also those a little bit falling behind, like the Detroit Red Wings. They become a bit more desperate. So maybe they do open things up a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe they're playing Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. Those are 2 head-to-head matches for a playoff spot. The Rangers and Minnesota. Maybe taking a chance on Red Wings players could be interesting too. Yeah, it's very challenging. Like the Anaheim 4 games. Anytime Anaheim plays 4 games, and they've got plenty of value contracts there, like Gauthier and Leo Carlson. San Jose too, playing 4 games, playing St. Louis, Anaheim, Toronto, Nashville. That's a nice schedule there for Celebrini and company too, right? So, yeah, there's options, and I'm curious to see how much these teams overthink their roster this week to try to catch up and gain some points. Like we saw, the number 1 and 2 last week finished 0.1 points apart on the week, so they didn't. Nothing really changed in the standings there. So it'll be fun. What would you guys do exactly this week if you were, let's say, top 3 and you're fighting for a top spot? Are you overthinking it, or you're just going with who you think is going to be the best this week?
One thing I realized in this league all year long is when you overthink things, that's when you make a mistake. So especially towards the end, you can't overthink. You got to go with your gut and what you've been. If you're at the top all season, you got to keep on doing what you've been doing all season to stay at the top. So obviously we don't know what that is, but Vito P definitely does.
Fair enough.
Yeah, not much to add there.
that rounds up our PBLL and pretty much rounds up this episode. And Vince, it's funny you said you overthink it. When you overthink things, that's when you get in trouble. Off air, we were just talking about how you're overthinking a possible expansion draft at LPH.
Not overthinking it. I'm preparing ahead of time. Huh? Did you hear about the guy who invented the knock-knock jokes?
No.
He won the Nobel Prize.
Oh my God. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'll give it to you. Nick didn't catch it for a sec there, but I know he likes it. Look at that grin.
I caught it.
See?
Caught it.
Was prepared.
That was
done,
good.
sir.
I like that one. That might be, that's among the best ones so far.
Have a good night, people.
Guys, it's the time of year where everything gets tight. So loosen up.
Talking about tight, which
Whoa.
sounds absolutely
Whoa,
great.
whoa, whoa,
by the way,
Nick.
Junior.
Whoa.
We should mention that we are starting to organize our playoff pool.
Yes.
We will talk more about it at the lens.
We'll be organizing our playoff pool, and I don't know if you guys remember last year we had some really good reviews on it. Had a lot of fun playing it. It's a survivor, so every round half the teams get eliminated. So I hope you guys join us this year for it.
Yeah, it's called the Battle Royale. Defending champ, listener Rook, has already handed in her registration for
I
this
thought you
year's
said
Battle Royale.
resignation.
No, registration. I
right.
tried to tell her not to be part of it to give everyone else a chance, but
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night,
take care,
please.
everybody.
Been a pleasure.